Hello, hello, hello. So, looks like we got a snow day. So, here's some things I need you to do this week. Make sure you have turned in your credit packet. I'll be grading those this week while I'm at home. Also, we're going to talk about, we've already talked about how you get credit and what it looks like and how to make sure that you don't keep that revolving credit eating you up. You want to talk about how to maintain good credit. That's the hard part, is keeping your credit in good standing. So we're going to talk about how to look at a credit report, how to make sure you keep a good score, how to keep good credit history, um, what a good credit score looks like, how to check your reporting agencies, how to claim something if something's incorrect. All right, so debt to income, that's an important thing. We want to stay in that 20 to 30% is really the ideal. 35% is really pushing it. Anything over 35% is starting to make your credit look bad because debt to income ratio. Because debt is only about what you're paying on um, payments, not about groceries, not about gas, not about personal expenses, none of that, not about your electricity. It's only the things you're paying on, such as credit cards, maybe a house mortgage, car payments, etc. Okay, if you have more than one person income, then you can count both of your income and you want it to be 20 to 30% of both of your income. So it just depends on, if you're a one person household, two people household, etc. The credit process, so it builds credit history. It's reported to the credit bureaus. Then they put it on a credit report, gives you a credit score, and then you have a credit rating. This is what a sample credit report will look like. It will show when you've paid, if you've been late, how much you owe, how much your balance is, how much your credit limit is, how long you've had credit with them, um, all that kind of stuff. It'll also give you a score on there. It'll tell all your personal information, so be careful about that. It does tell your date of birth, social security, your birth date, name, address. Um, it'll tell if accounts have been closed, if you no longer have those accounts. It tells all your anything to do with credit information on there. Oops, I didn't mean to skip that far. Let me get back to where I was. Hang on 2 seconds with me. We already went. Okay. All right. Credit safeguards for customers. There's several acts and bills that's been passed through Congress that protects you as the consumer. One is you get a free credit report every year. You have the right to that. Anytime you file, like you have a credit score ran, you can ask for a copy of that credit report, and that is free to you as well. So do that. Any kind of fraud alerts or activity duty alerts. Um, any kind of red flags. You want to check anything that looks out of the ordinary. You want to check your credit score. You want to check to see if there's any kind of fraudulent charges, maybe collection agencies, things like that. What can you do to establish and maintain good credit? Pay all your bills on time, avoid late fees, keep a low balance, um, pay as much as you can on your credit. If you can pay it all off every month, then do that. If it's a house payment and things and you have extra money, pay extra on it. Um, keep your debt ratio down, like we talked about. There are two types of credit. One is private labels, such as like a J.C. Penney's, a Murphy's gas station. Those are private labels, single source. You can only use them in their stores. And then there is like a general label like MasterCard, Visa, American Express. These cards can be used about anywhere. Your private labels are usually a higher interest rate. They're going to put more. This is a good way to get your credit started. It's a good way to establish building of that credit. But if you try to pay that off within that grace period. Remember, grace period's paying it off before the interest is charged, which is usually about 20 to 25 days. That's a good way to build that credit, but it's going to be a lot more interest rate. You can only use it in those stores. It's going to be a low credit limit. A general label is going to be a higher credit limit, probably a little better interest score depending on your credit, but can be used about anywhere. These are great to help build your credit, but it's a way for like emergencies, things like that. You don't want to try, you want to make sure that if you use this credit that you have the money to pay it off, that you're not buying things that you can't afford. When you're shopping for a credit card, things you want to look at is annual fee. I showed you a credit application on the back. I showed you how it shows you how much the APR is. Some of them have an introduction rate. You need to read that fine print, see how much it is after introduction rates, what minimum payment you'll be paying, how long it would take you to pay off the credit limit they give you. So if they give you $1,000 and you pay the minimum credit, figure out what it would cost you, how long it would take you to pay that off. Grace periods, is it, does it have a grace period? How long is it? Is there an annual fee of any kind? If it has an annual fee, I would avoid those cards at all costs. Finance charges, look at late fees, card incentives, if they have points, if they have cash back. Kind of look at that and see if you're getting a worse interest rate, if you're getting cash back or points. Kind of look at that to see what your options are. Remember, the cost of credit depends on how much you pay. So making the minimum payments takes you a lot longer to pay off. If you look at this chart, the balance is $500. When you make just the minimum payment, you're paying $20 a month. It's going to take you 2.4 years to pay off. It's going to cost you $600 in the long run. If you have $1,000, you're paying $22 a month. You're going to end up paying $1,552, and it takes you 6.3 years. A $2,500 credit card ends up costing you $4,877, and it takes 13.9 years to pay off. That's a long time for $2,500. Okay, warning signs, managing your credit challenges, warning signs of credit abuse, credit card reductions, correcting credit errors, resource and assistance. Okay, some serious trouble signs, and there's some not so serious, and then there's some serious, like being delinquent on one payment. That's not so serious. Default notices, we're getting to about a 2. Repossessions, that's very serious. That's a 4. Collection agencies, we're getting into a 2, maybe a 3. Liens where they put a lien is where they put something against the property in which you own, and they say they're going to take it or keep it until you pay off your debt, or they take and sell it to pay off your debt. That's pretty serious. That's a 4. Garnishments, where they start taking money out of your paycheck. That's a 3 to a 4. Other things is foreclosures, losing a home. That's very serious. Paying a delinquent payment a week or 2 behind once or twice a year. That's like a not serious, but it's showing you're getting into some signs of trouble. Okay. We talked about paying the minimum and paying extra, how much difference it does make. So anytime you see a credit error on your credit report, first you want to highlight or circle that. You want to write a letter to the reporting agency telling them why you think the information is inaccurate. Provide any documentation you have to show that that's inaccurate. Send it by certified mail. Send a letter to the creditor who reports that has put that on the report, letting them know that their information is inaccurate. They will conduct an investigation from the reporting agency. If negative information is accurate, it can stay on your report 7 to 10 years. So if you have a medical bill that you don't pay, and you think though that you've paid it and you can prove you've paid it, you write a letter to that whoever reported it, you write a letter to the reporting agency and they'll get it removed. But if you don't pay those bills, they stay on your credit report for 7 to 10 years. So does, repossessions, foreclosures, bankruptcies, all those kind of things. Take responsibility for your actions. Communicate with your creditors if you start getting behind. Work out something with them. Talk to them. Try to consolidate debts. Talk to credit counselors. Look into what bankruptcy would look like for you. That is very hard on a credit, but sometimes it's the only option when there's a lot of medical bills, things like that. Okay, finish up these notes. Turn in your banking credit project, or sorry, your credit project that was due this past Friday. And then I'll have you another assignment for tomorrow, but add this to the current notes you have, ending the credit history.